California.
So speaking of family, I wanted to rewind. You know, I joked in the intro about the California kid, which totally makes it's so funny. When I was talking to Kirk and he was telling me about one of his biggest influences, you know, obviously it was like, okay, Kiss, you know, we all have that kind of Kiss, Destroyer, you know, influence. But then the other side of him was, he was like, but I had a buddy and he showed me Parliament Funkadelic, the spaceship, the Mothership Connection.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he told me that, when he said those words, Parliament Funkadelic, Mothership Connection, I was like, holy shit, that is so you, more than anything I've ever seen. I
see where that comes from.
Yes, I'm like, I understand you so much more now. And I'm like, that's so funny. Like, Tony, the California kid. So were you super young when you came over?
Yeah,
or?
So I was born in California, in Los Angeles, and was a teenager when I moved to Tyler. So
okay, well, that's pretty. I mean,
I was
that's old enough to formulate some thoughts and shit.
So, what happened was I was a child actor in LA, and just started getting into it, and I barely started playing guitar, and I was doing a bunch of theater. Was starting to get a manager and agent and stuff, and was starting to go for bit commercials and all this kind of stuff. And my parents were like, "Oh, we're moving to East Texas."
You're like, "What?"
I was like, "Where is that?" One story I wanted to tell, a California story I had to tell you. So I was in this acting company, and I was doing a play. And I met this girl named Allison Roth, and she's a very sweet girl. We became friends. We did a play together and stuff. And she's like, "Hey, do you want to go see my brother's band play?" And I was like, okay, cool. You know, I was a little kid. I was like, I think 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, we'll have your mom drop you off at my mom's house, and we'll go. And I'm like, okay, cool. I had no idea who it was. It's like my mom drops me off at her house. I go in her apartment or her house, and there's pictures of Kiss on the wall. And it said, "Hey, Dave, Japanese women are great in Japan," and all this stuff. And I was like, "Holy shit, this is Kiss!" Well, I didn't know this, but Allison Roth's brother is David Lee Roth.
Oh, there's an inner circle. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Here I am, ain't no man of the world. All I need is a beautiful girl. Oh yeah, beautiful girl.
So I said, "Well,
funny."
I was like, "Where are we going to see your brother's band play?" And she's like, "Well, we're going to the Los Angeles Coliseum." I was like, "Are you shitting me?" No. So we got in a limousine.
And you didn't know this?
I had no idea this was coming. I didn't know who Van Halen was at all. Maybe a little bit from my brother, but my older brother. But
now, would they have been signed?
Oh yeah. They were Van Halen 2-ish.
Okay,
I think it was around this time. So anyway, so we get in a limousine and go to the Los Angeles Coliseum for a California Jam, whatever. It's like 100,000 people there. I get out of the limousine. I get a backstage pass on my leg, and I get to go back. Aerosmith's walking by, and Ted Nugent and Eddie Money and all these. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
And so I sat.
You're like,
what the hell? So I sit between Eddie's mom. Eddie Van Halen's mom is on one side of me, and she was this little lady, sweet lady. And David Lee Roth's mother was on the other side of me. And I'm like this little 13-year-old kid watching Right. And I'll never forget this dude. David Lee Roth comes out on stage. Hey, motherfuckers, this is awesome. We're going to kick some fucking ass tonight and doing all this shit. And all I could think of in my mind was like, oh my God, I wonder if his mom's getting mad at him for cussing so much. So I was sitting in between David and Eddie and Alex's moms. And they were very sweet. They kind of took me under their wing and made sure I didn't get lost. Because this was all like, I was in a world that I had never been in before. Get backstage after the show and go into like a little trailer thing. And Allison introduces me to David Lee Roth. And David was super sweet, dude. He was very nice. And, hey, man, how you doing? You know, David Lee Roth voice. And yeah, my sister taught me everything I know, and you know, and all this stuff. And so that was the first rock concert I'd ever been to. It was the last thing I did in Los Angeles before we moved to Tyler. Yeah. And when I got to Tyler, there was nothing. Yeah. You know? There was no acting.
You went from that to Tyler.
Yeah, to Tyler.
Especially Tyler back then.
Back then, especially. There was nothing. There was no, I mean, Hobbit was the only band that was doing anything at that time.
Right.
Ooh, make your choice. Each day is all it's on. They go by one. They're counting on the run. And it's only here for you. And it's only here for me. I wonder if they use the years to keep your score.
And so what that did for me was it turned my focus away from acting, because there was nothing to do there except go to school plays and stuff, and to being a musician and so I started playing guitar a lot more and started learning chord structures and how to play. And it was a good thing for me in one way, the way I learned, and a bad thing. So the good part of it was I immediately started writing music. I didn't know that you need to learn other bands' music and you know, I just kind of naturally started writing music right away. But the problem was you know, I think we gain our ability in playing by learning other bands' songs and how they play, and it teaches us that. So I kind of skipped that a little bit and had to go back around to sitting down and learning other bands' leads, and because I loved Ace Frehley, I loved Eddie Van Halen, I loved those guys. But I didn't have the ability because I didn't take that step. Right. So it was a good thing in that I started writing music right away. It was a bad thing because my guitar playing suffered for a long time. Yeah. And then I wanted to be a sloppy, fast lead player, which was stupid.
I think I kind of had a similar journey a little bit too, because I was much more about the songwriting process, even from a very, a young kid, just trying to, I wanted to tell stories. I had a lot of stuff inside of me that I wanted to get out.
So that's cool.
and it wasn't really about the guitar necessarily. And so the lead thing, and John would try to, he would try to sit down and show me scales and do all these things, but I literally just had I would,
right.
Yeah, I was like, scales, like, but, I want to, I don't know, I want to sing my heart out, and that kind of thing. And so it took me, I had to come back around to it. It wasn't until after I graduated high school, really, and started playing in a cover band and, I got to learn how to play some shit if I'm going to do this. And then, you start picking things up and...
Well, I mean, I sang in Foursidecircle for a long time, so I kind of quit playing guitar.
Here in Brazil, it's cold and it's raining. It's supposed to be fun, but the weather here just drains me.
My guitar playing suffered even worse because, I think the best sounding playing at the time that I did was probably Boom Shanka, because I really kind of did the King's X and the blues playing. It was kind of fit my style. So when I moved to Dallas, I quit playing for a long time and just sang in Foursidecircle. And so when I came back to the guitar and started picking up and playing again, there was a lot of it I had to relearn. And then when I started playing with Marquis of Vaudeville, it's some of the hardest music I've ever played in my life.
Really?
It's amazing
Why?
stuff. Well, because Toby is like the main songwriter of the band, and Brian Geddes is the guitar player. He's still a part of the band, but he just doesn't play live shows and stuff. He's an amazing guitar player. So his teacher was Derek Taylor. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
So Derek, and of course, we knew Derek from Tyler and everything. So Derek,
Brett played with him for a little while after Wizard.
Yeah, Derek's an amazing.
And he was all I always knew about Derek back then. Anyway, I know a lot, know much more now, but back then it was just Brett talking about how fucking hard the shit was to play.
Amazing player, amazing. So Brian was, from what I understand, was Derek's student.
Okay.
So his playing is real similar to Derek's, right? And can do the sweeping and just an amazing play. He's an amazing player. So between Toby writing these really cool, difficult, like chord progression songs, Brian would come in and kind of make his own thing into it. So the music is difficult to play. It's way out there. It's fucking awesome. I love it.
'Cause we're all mad here. None believes me queer. The cards will fall, my dear. 'Cause we're all mad down.
What these guys, this is a funny thing though, man. These guys, they do something that I wish I would have thought about doing a long time ago when playing with another band or trying to play with another band. What these guys do is, hey, we want you to come play with a band. What we have is a guitar player is making you videos and showing you exactly how to play them. Because we know this stuff is so weird, they set up an iPhone and film themselves playing the song, go through it step by step. You have your own private tutor, your own private guitar player teacher. You don't have to guess what key it's in. You don't have to guess. There's no sitting down playing by ear. It's all right in front of you. And I thought, you know what? God dang, man, this would have been an awesome thing to have years ago. with anything you did. Just set up a video camera. If it wasn't an iPhone, if it was before that, you could set up a video camera and play. Hey, we're going to play these songs. This is how you play them. Instead of going, here's a tape, go learn the songs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. On Brett's episode we had a whole conversation around that idea that, that's one reason why I think people overall, there's so many more good musicians out there, and from a young age, good.
Incredible.
Because they have so many things, at their disposal. If they want to go learn, I don't know, Yngwie Malmsteen. There's somebody out there, or let's say Metallica, something more relevant today. Metallica song, there's somebody out there that's got a tutorial video that's showing you every little thing to play on it.
Step by step.
Yeah. You don't have to take the tape recorder and try to rewind and play and rewind and play, and then you might not even be able to hear some of it, and your speakers sucked, and
you might pick it out wrong.
Yeah. Now you can do half speed and all these kinds of things that are at their disposal now that you can't help but be able to be a better player, and that combined with just so much more exposure to things, not just the methods, but just all around exposure.
Yeah, putting it in conjunction with what you're doing, I think. So like with Marquis of Vaudeville, playing that style of music was so out of my ability. You're
like, hell yeah, let's do it. I'm going to play. And then they're like, here, you got to play this. You're like, oh shit.
God. And that was the other thing too. It brought to me I'm definitely now more regimented about practice. Practicing with a metronome, which I never even thought about, but that structures your playing, and practice these chords and practice these scales and put in the time, put in the 10,000 hours, And I'll say, like in the last 2 years that I've been playing with this band, I'm probably a better player now than I've ever been. And it all comes from those guys, coming up with a great idea. And that's such a great thing and loving thing to do, because they want not only the success of the band, they want you to be successful by giving you everything you need to play the music in the band.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I love it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is just, one thing my dad taught me growing up is hard work cures most ailments. Like if you just put in the hard work,
practice,
good things are going to come out of it. And that was always the thing, like growing up around John, he's obviously kind of he's a ridiculous prodigy dude.
Guitar player, yeah.
People, we would go play live or just around town, people would see it and talk about it and like, commenting on it. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't see the 1,000 hours of him sitting down watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 for 5 hours, just doing scales the entire fucking time. One of my favorite memories was sitting around with my brother John watching Mystery Science Theater 3000. He would be playing his guitar, practicing. I would be doing God knows what, probably not practicing my guitar, but we would just have some great times watching that show, laughing our asses off. And one of my favorite bits is from Space Mutiny, when they were making fun of the many names of David Ryder, this big buff dude.
Let's get out there, kick some ass!
Trunk slam chest,
fist rock bone,
stump beef knob, smash lamp jaw,
punch rock groin,
buck plank chest,
stump junkman,
dirk hard peck,
rip steak face, slate slab rock,
crud bone meal,
rip slag cheek,
punch side iron, bristle mcthorn body,
slake fist crunch,
buff hard back, Bob Johnson. Oh wait. Blast thick neck,
crunch butt steak,
slab squat thrust, Lump, beef broth.
Touch, rust rod.
Reef, blast body. Big, McLarge, huge. Smoke, man muscle. Eat, punch beef. Hack, blow fist.
Some things you just got to put in the work, you know, to
Yeah.
be able to get to that point. It's not. Now, there are some people who, whether it's, you know, reincarnation or something, you know, that just can do it somehow. But those are very far and few between.
They are. And
you have people like me who I realized very quickly when I saw John, I was like, nope, I'm going to learn how to play just a bunch of different instruments and just learn how to write.
I wondered for you, especially being the youngest, growing up with all your brothers being, you know,
I was like, I'm never going to be able to do
I wondered
that.
where do I sit in this? What do I do? You know, how do I fit?
I think that's why my stuff, a lot of time, I just always wanted, and this is probably a detriment on some level, but I just always wanted to do different stuff. I wanted my stuff to sound unique.
Nothing detriment about that. It's being original.
Well, I mean, it not anymore. I feel like nowadays, but back in the day, during it was a little harder because people, you know, they wanted you to sound like whatever the latest radio trend was, and if you are breaking new ground, that only works if you are the Linkin Park that gets signed.
Yeah.
This feeling is something I would never wish upon anyone.
You know what I mean? And somebody take the chance on you. Otherwise, all the other Linkin Parks that have been doing it along with them, nobody knows of them.
Starting from here, my head is where I feel numb. From the front of my neck to the base of my skull, I'm taken aback by the way my mind is working. Like Paul, my emotional control is always shocking.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
And so, but it's still, I would rather have that. I would rather not I don't know. I would rather be me and put out something, you know, that's true to myself and different, that doesn't sound like every other, you know, every other band that's, anyway.
It's great stuff.
Well, I appreciate it. I
love it.
That's my personal approach to things, you know.
Yeah, I love that.
And but also again, having people around you, you know, if you're going to do stuff that's a little bit more complicated like that, and you've got to play with a click to pull stuff like that off, if you've got samples and different things playing with you, that means you've got to have a drummer that's cool with doing that.
Yeah.
And they're not all cool with doing that.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't
true.
all want to fucking click in their ear the entire performance. And I get it. I totally get that. And Brett was like, no, that's
into
fine.
that, yeah.
Let's do it. You know?
Oh, he was?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
totally.
okay, good,
You
good.
know, that's a reason why that band was even able, you know, I was able to do what I was able to do because I had somebody like Brett that was like, oh, yeah, I'll play with the click if it means being able to put something cool together, you know?
So much, it helps me kill the pain. 'Cause you're not here with me. So much, it helps me kill the pain. You're just wiping away.
I was going to the worst place in the world, and I didn't even know it yet.
That makes me wonder. So when you guys played and he had a click, did all of you guys have clicks?
No, just him.
Just him.
Yep.
So with us, with Marquis, it's everybody, because there's some like back tapes, you know,
Right.
like piano
Uh-huh.
and stuff. So we wear in-ears and just throw a click in everybody. So
Yeah.
you all, and after a while you kind of don't even know it's there.
Yeah, and that's probably the better way to do it. You know, at the time, I don't think we had the capability.
That's true. I mean, you'd all have to have in-ears, right?
Yeah.
In order for that to work.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that would have been better because there were definitely times where it was like, you know, oh shit, we're starting.
Where are we?
You know, Brett had to, you know, bless his heart, he had to be like on it all the time. You know, and you can tell me, you can probably relate with this with Marquis, but there's such I have a love-hate relationship with stuff like that because ultimately I'm always in favor. I love cool shows, you know, like when I went and saw, you know, Manson for the first time or Nine Inch Nails or those guys, like they can't do what they do. Yeah, hell, Lady Gaga. You know, these people that put on these kinds of performances, you don't do that without somebody playing to a click.
Absolutely.
It's not possible. That also means that you're losing a little bit of that ability to just jam and, you know, go with the flow of the moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where, you know, it's like you might want to do this thing
because you can't.
Yeah, I know. And, yeah, I'm a feel guy, so sometimes I would feel the audience, but it's like, well, we already got this set carved out. We're gonna play this set, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess.
I don't know. Do y'all go through that at all?
Well, yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, you know, if something goes wrong, you kind of have to improvise. But we have definite sets. We have definite ways that things are going. We have, you know, there's no room for error in a lot of stuff that we do. But that becomes part of Marquis' thing, you know. It's a show band. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and I love that.
And Tool is the same. If you think about that and that kind of stuff, Tool is kind of that band where, you know, they play to video scenes during their shows. So they have to be right on it with a click the entire time. So when you're in that kind of performance art, it's a different world. Yeah. It's a different thing.
It is a show. It's not.
Show. Yeah. It's not as much jamming.
Yeah, you're not
stuff.
going to just see a rock band playing. You know, so it's a different beast.
It is totally
for sure.